The new channel. See the new. The new channel. See the new. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel, your daily source of live stream inspiration. My name is Lloyd Luna. This is The Big Picture. Hey, hey, hey! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all? Ayan po ay first day of June 2020, unang araw ng GCQ. Siyempre, before we talk about the GCQ, we're going to talk about your birthday. Sa lahat po naman nagsaselebrate ng birthday nila, happy birthday! Patapos na po yung birthday ninyo. So for sure, nakaraos na naman kayo. Siyempre, babatiin ko na kagad ang nanonood ngayon aking ina. Madam Carmelita Luna. Ito po ay nanonood pa galing sa Australia. Sa lahat po naman nakatutok at nanonood ngayon ng The Big Picture, isang gabi na po ng punong-puno ng inspirasyon. Siyempre itong mga episodes natin, hindi naman pwedeng basta-basta lang natin may tawid because what we want really is to make sure that your night is gonna be worth it. So if you're watching from all over the world, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, please do share yung ating live stream ngayon. Especially kung may mga kakilala kayong negosyante, nagninegosyo, either franchisor or franchisee, paki-alert na lang po sila. Dahil medyo big time ang ating guest ngayon. Well, hindi siya medyo, actually big time na talaga ang ating guest ngayon. So unang araw ng GCQ, no? Kumusta naman po ang kauna-unahang araw ninyo na medyo loosened na ang atin pong restriction paglabas ng ating bahay. Nanonood po si Jessie Francis Rebustillo. Yan po ay former president or past president of PIMA, People Management Association of the Philippines, and also current president of the Philippine Association of Professional Speakers. Saka chairman din po ng Philippine Society for Talent Development. Napakadami kasi namang organization. Talagang, Sir Jesse, hello, how are you? So if you have questions, if you have suggestions or comments, please do drop them all in our comment stream. Siyempre, babasahin namin at babatiin namin yung mga nanonood. Babasahin yung comment, hindi natin babasahin yung nanonood. Babasahin yung comment at babatiin yung nanonood. So, for example, Kel Lorena, how are you, sir? Christine Tugade, how are you? Nasaan ka na lockdown? GCQ na. And of course, from Manda, New York. Manda, New York, ating sulit na tagapanood. Huwag nang bagitin yung pangalan. Paki-share, paki-organize pa ng mga watch party sa inyong mga timeline because again, ngayon pong gabing ito is hindi talaga natin pwedeng palampasin dahil sa totoo lang, importante po ito. Business, business, business. Kasi baka mamaya, nandito yung kailangan ninyong makita at matutunan. Especially kung kayo po ay medyo alanganin na makabalik sa inyong trabaho or kasi hindi pa natin alam magnitude na nangyari, baka mamaya is makasama kayo dun sa possible na ma-layoff. So baka may mga options, baka may mga choices na pwedeng matutunan at malaman nyo ngayong gabing ito dahil ang akin pong guest ay talaga namang big time pagdating sa negosyo. Okay, so si Christine ay naipit sa Olongapo City. Alam niyo po, medyo kawawa talaga din yung mga napilitang pumasok ngayon no, sa mga trabaho nila dahil talaga pang wala pang mass transport system. Eh kung gagamit ka naman ng train, meron lang talagang lugar kung saan sila pwedeng tumigil at magsakay. Ay, so anong gagawin natin? Well, obviously, kung wala talaga, naglalakad po ang ating mga kababayan. Gabriel Billy Dominguez, the Master Salespreneur, good evening to you. Hopefully, I see you all. Mga guests natin galing sa BNI po by Monday night. Kung matutuloy yung schedule namin. So, konting tiyaga pa po, konting stretch pa ng ating pasensya dahil ganun po talaga. When we are trying to return doon po sa mundo na almost 3 months natin na iniwan, eh medyo manindibago po talaga. So, lahat po tayo is nag-a-adjust. Actually, interesting po yung idea ng adjustments. Simple lang po ang concept. Bago po mag-lockdown, meron tayong habits, meron tayong set of doing things. No? And then, nung nag-lockdown, nakakreate tayo ng panibagong set of new habits and then ngayon is biglang yung habits na na-build natin for 3 months, i-unbuild mo to start to develop a new set of habits. And so in other words, hindi po madali yung pagbalik na gagawin natin. So kung mapapakiusapan ko po kayo, konting haba lang po ng pasensya because lahat po tayo ay pinagdadaanan ito pong challenge nito. Hi Jen, how are you? Okay, so again, ang ating guest ay mamaya ko ipapasok dahil bago ko siya ipasok, kailangan ko muna magbasa ng headlines po mula sa The Manila Times. Pope makes appeal for pandemic victims. Private sectors asked to sustain mass testing. World virus cases top 6 million. Airlines back in business, restart local flights. Security officials defend anti-terror measure. PH secures $4.8 billion loans for pandemic response. Headlines presented to you by the Manila Times. Go to manilatimes.net for more news and information or download their application at Digital Edition www.manilatimes.net. May pag-i-English. Ayan, di ko nainit na kayo. Papasok ko ng ating guest. Hi muna, Rochelle. How are you? Si Kabili Dominguez daw ay nanonood mula sa Kapitolyo, Pasig City. Si Rochelle is nanonood from Pampanga to, for sure. Pampanga. Hindi lang natin, malay mo naman, lumipat siya ng lugar. Pabati daw po muna bago kayo pasok ang guest, ang buong family or community ng Trinity University of Asia. Sige po, ako po hindi nag-guest ng hindi gwapo at hindi matalino at hindi kwalipikado. So, ito na po ating guest ngayon. Kung ready na kayo, edi magpalakpakan po tayo. Rudolf Kotik is president founder of RK Franchise Consultancy. Hello, sir. How are you? And welcome to The Big Picture. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Lloyd, for inviting me. It's my pleasure being with you at The Big Picture. And hopefully people will like what we're talking about today, which is franchising.
Yeah,
and good evening to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. They will have to like it, because whether they like it or they like it, they should like it. Why else will they watch if they don't like it? So thank you so much again for coming. My first question that I normally ask my guests is how they are. So how are you doing?
I'm doing actually very fine. For the last 3 months, I'm already in my house in Cagayan de Oro. And we only had 2 weeks of ECQ. The rest was all CCQ and MCGQ. So we are doing actually very fine here. I cannot complain. Being at home most of the time. So that's actually very fine with me. Finally, most of the time, usually I travel for the last years. I'm more on the road than at home, actually, in my house. And now straight for 3 months, I'm in my house.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I have followed you for several years now. And I'm an admirer of your works. And seeing you travel from one place to another, not only in the Philippines, but also abroad, is kind of like, oh my God, this guy is never getting tired. And so the Lord said probably, hey, Rudolph, stay at home for 90 days. I'm going to quarantine you. So during the 90 days, when I first heard about the ECQ or the lockdown, what was the first thing that came into your mind? Because you were so busy and you're doing a lot of things, and now that you are restrained to just be at home. So
it was kind of funny because I was already in Cagayan de Oro at the time. Accident, actually. We had a franchise meeting and a seminar here on March 12th. So when it was announced on March 12th that the ECQ will be effective March 15th, the first thing I did, I called up my general manager in Manila to pack up a lot of my work. It ended up being 25 kilos of cargo, which they sent to me by Philippine Airlines to Cagayan de Oro. And I was working on that for the past weeks, and I'm still working. Even I'm at home, I'm working my 18 hours a day until now.
That should be a really huge adjustment for you, right? I mean, the body, spirit, it's like the rhythm, because you will have to contain yourself inside the house for like 3 months. How was the adjustments like? I mean, the first few days or few weeks of the.
Actually, I found it accidentally. I found it actually easier than it turned out to be easier than I expected it.
Oh, really?
I had actually no problem with adjusting. Maybe it was like you said also. Maybe it was already time to give my body also a 3 month rest from traveling for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah. Okay. So before we even talk about further your experiences in this crisis and how you're coping with it, maybe you can walk us through on how you started your business here in the Philippines and how you became one of the top-notch franchise consultants here. So if you can just walk us through, and
Sure.
then that would be really really great.
We started actually in 1995 in Cebu. And since most of our clients were actually from Manila or from Luzon, so by 1999, we transferred to Metro Manila and opened our office in first in Makati and then in Quezon City, where we are till now. And so we are in existence as Aki Franchise Consultancy for 21 years already, and in the business for now 26 years in total in the Philippines. Actually, my experience goes way back to 1978. I started in franchising. So for the last 42 years, I'm already into franchising. My whole life since graduating from HRM, I was in the franchise industry, either as employee originally, or then in my own company under Active Franchise Consultancy. And we actually started 1995, and the interesting thing, because we're right now in a crisis, Lloyd, the
Mm.
interesting thing is that you know that the Philippine franchise industry, the domestic franchise industry, was actually born out of a crisis.
Is this the 96 97 Asian financial crisis, or?
Exactly, Lloyd. During that time, we had the Asian crisis. Up to that time, the franchise industry was 100% foreign brands coming into the Philippines. And since the Asian crisis, it had changed the entire picture, and we became actually a big franchise nation, which actually was born out of the Asian financial crisis.
Yeah, my curious question is what was it in the crisis that eventually turned our businesses into a franchising model? I mean, of
Okay,
course, they resisted that first, and then the crisis. Is it what was the reason behind it?
because at that time, 22 years ago, the dollar went from 20 pesos to 40 and 50 pesos. So any franchise you would have purchased from abroad would have cost you from one day to the other double the amount. So at that time, it was not really financially viable. So people were starting to look for local brands. And that actually opened the floodgates for the domestic franchise industry. Luckily, RK was there from the very beginning, so that's why we were able to develop more than 700 brands in the Philippines since the last 20 years since we're in
Yeah.
existence.
How prepared, or probably not prepared, were we when the floodgates opened?
It was actually not really like a tsunami. It was actually kind of step by step, okay? Because in the 22 years ago, a lot of people still had no idea what franchising is all about. The internet was still in its infancy, so the knowledge was not on that level what it is today. Today, most people know already a lot about franchising. So at that time, it was like franchising 101. You know, we had to really teach people step one, step two, baby step by baby step, what franchising is all about. Today, people are on a much higher level already. They're much better informed than they may have been 20 years ago
Mm.
about franchising, which is actually a very good advantage now that people know already much more about it than those people who started franchising 20 years ago.
Okay, now that's interesting because we are again now in a crisis, and this is not just a crisis. It is actually incomparable with that of 96 and 97. But for our viewers to really appreciate what we're talking about here, if you can just describe to us or explain how franchising really works, and then we can probably start from the basic before we can go advance.
Yeah, franchising practically is a duplication of a business system. Okay, So if the way a franchisor operates, the same way a franchisee should be operating. There shouldn't be any difference in the way they conduct business. Therefore, as a franchise developer, when we develop a company into a franchise system, we prepare everything what a company needs to be a professional franchisor, which includes, for example, the legal aspect. Every franchise company needs a franchise agreement, needs side agreements. We prepare up to 15 contracts for every client of us. We need complete manualization, operations manuals, again, which are broken down into sub-manuals like pre-opening manual, what a franchisee has to do before they open the business. Administration manual about employees from hiring to firing, about the money, the service protocol on how things actually operated in the business, standard operating procedures from opening to closing, training manual, forms and reports, also marketing materials like brochures, marketing kits, franchise disclosure materials, and of course, everybody needs a trademark to be able to get the franchise.
Yeah, for sure. That will be the most, I think, the most important part of franchising. But okay, so just for our viewers to really appreciate it, so simple terms is duplication, doblehin mo. So you don't have to start from scratch because meron ng tried and tested. You just have to come in and invest, and then you have a business to run the way that it should have run based on the franchisor's specifications or something to that effect.
Exactly right.
Okay, sorry, I have to translate it to a more localized language for us to appreciate, because later on, as we move on with the interview, I really have to tell them this is probably an opportunity for them to dive in and invest in the business. Because the economy has flattened, you know what I mean? And if it has flattened, there are a lot of opportunities here and there. And maybe I'm going to ask you later on how the prices or the cost of a franchise is now costing, because maybe mas mababa na, maybe kalahati discount, because we are trying to realign. And I have asked some friends from the business community also na nagpapa-franchise, na they're saying talagang yung nare-remodel yung kanilang business model because of this. So maraming mga realignments. All right, so yeah, and
that's very true, Lloyd. As a matter of fact, actually, I don't see actually. I mean, of course, from the medical side, it's a bad thing to have the corona pandemic. But from the business side, actually, there is a very big opportunity if you have money to invest it actually right now. Because the advantage of it, if you invest right now into a franchise, is first of all, you get a very good deal from the franchisors. Most franchisors give discounts on the franchise fees and the terms and conditions. Second, also very important, most landlords are very accommodating right now. So they also give lower rates. They also give better deals compared to when we are in good times, so to speak. Okay, so it's actually a very good time now if you have money to invest it into a franchise, because of the advantages it gives you right now, getting discounts from franchisors and also getting good deals from landlords. And also, it will take you something like 2-3 months until, if you buy a franchise now, until you can actually operate it. And by that time, most likely we're already even out of the MCQC or whatever we status portions of the country has. We already almost out here in Cagayan de Oro, but in Metro Manila, it's still TCQ. So I hope in 2 months from now you will be out. So if you buy now a franchise, by the time you operate it, you're already in the regular new normal already.
Okay, now that's interesting. If I have some sort of a savings, and then I can probably put my money right where you are telling us to put our money or my money, and there's an opportunity, wide range of opportunities, and thousands of possible companies that they can franchise, right? I mean, by the thousands.
Yes, because alone, you see, I have 700 clients. So I think that in the whole country, there are around 1,500 franchise companies you can get a franchise from. So of course, you should first also check on it, decide of how much is the budget needed for your franchise, if you have the right location for that kind of business, and also if you have the right interest. This is actually the three things you should have for if you buy a franchise. The interest in doing that business. You don't have to be an expert. Okay, I tell you, 99% of all restaurant franchisee owners only know how to eat. Okay? They don't know how to cook. Yeah, but that's the perfect scenario. Okay. So if you know what is a paracetamol, you can already get a drugstore franchise. Okay. You don't have to be a pharmacist. You have one. All right. So you don't have to be afraid to get a franchise of something which you actually don't know how to do it. That's the beauty of a franchise, because you will get the training from your franchisor, learning it, but you have to have the interest doing it. Okay, and it would be
By,
an
by,
advantage.
by, by interest, do you mean my interest in a particular brand or
Not necessarily a particular brand, but doing something. Let's say like you like baking, or you would like to do baking, even though you don't know how to bake, but you would like to do it. Okay. Best thing is get a franchise, because the franchise will teach you how to bake his products. Okay. So you don't have to be afraid
it,
about that one.
it sounds to me like a free class or something. You buy a franchise for you to be trained
Exactly.
specifically
Yes. Yes.
based
But of
on your
course,
interest.
will only be trained what the franchisor needs you to train so that you can operate his business. All right.
Yeah. So I just want the free training or free classes is just a bonus.
It's part of the
Majority,
franchise. It's
yeah,
part of the
majority you will have to do. So the business operations and marketing and many other stuff. That's where the sweat part comes in.
that's it exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what pushed you to become a franchise consultant? I mean, for sure there are a lot of careers that you can probably choose from. So why franchising?
Okay, because even before I opened RK Franchise Consultancy, I was practically my whole life in franchising. When I was still in Europe, I'm originally from Vienna, Austria. When I was still in Europe, I worked with franchise companies. I was employees of a hamburger chain. I was the become the franchise division, became a franchise manager there. Then I joined also a hotel chain, a very big one, and was the hotel director for Europe for franchising. And I joined a major franchise consultancy already in Europe also. So when I came to the Philippines, I had already an idea what franchising is all about. So I just had to adapt it to the localities, call it that way, to make it
Mhm.
Filipino.
How open was our country back then in this kind of concept when you came?
Uh, it, it was actually very open, especially after the Asian crisis. The only problem was, like I said earlier, the knowledge level was not yet that high as it is today. Okay, so we really started by, I would call it by Adam and Eve when it comes to franchising. That we really had at that time in the 1990s and early 2000s, we really gave a lot of seminars just to give really the explaining the basics on franchising. Today, if I compare my seminars in the 1990s and today, when I do a seminar today, it's a total different level already, because that what I teach in the 1990s, people know today already from the internet.
Google, you mean Google?
Yeah, exactly. So I can today I'm much more technical in my seminars compared to 1999 when we were basics. You know.
Yeah, but nonetheless, this information should have have its validation, right? I mean,
Yes.
who validates the information in there? I mean, they can always put information there and it's not gonna work. So the wealth of experience and knowledge and the wisdom that you acquire through the years, I think is so valuable. So when you started in 78, you know, the eldest in the family, in our family, is 1979. She was born in 1979.
Cool.
So
It makes me old.
I am not actually saying anything. I just said that. But anyway, you reacted, so it's on you. It's on you. All right, so I'm going to pause for a very short commercial. But before that, I'm going to ask you one question. Siyempre, kailangan natin ng bait para sila ay hindi umalis. The franchising concept, okay? Maraming ngayong mga businesses na na-create. May mga nagluluto na all of a sudden nagluto sila and they started servicing the community. Nagkaroon sila ng recipe, nagkaroon ng, I don't know, naging business sa kanila, things like that. So what are the opportunities for them? So sasagutin mo yan, sir. We're going to talk about that when after this very short commercial break. So stay tuned everyone, ha? Walang aalis. May mga babatiin pa ako nanonood. Kasama ko pa rin po si Rudolf Kotik ng RK Franchise Consultancy. Walang aalis ha. Diyan lamang po kayo.
We need beauty every day. We need power every day. But are you ready?
Ready? Ready.
Beauty is power.
You can start again. We know about your struggle. But you're not alone. We are live on your stream to help you start again. The new channel. See the new.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Picture on the new channel with me. Siyempre, yung ating bigating boss at negosyante, no? RK, no? Rudolf Kotik ng RK Franchise Consultancy. Pero siyempre, bago ko siya ibalik doon sa screen, hindi, babalik ko na para makita nyo. Baka mamaya makalimutan yung itsura. Okay, maraming salamat. Thank you for watching, Ma'am Susan. Gabi-gabi po ito si Ma'am Susan. Talagang nag-chat-tsaga dito sa ating programa. Hopefully, na-inspire talaga kayo. Sir Rudolf, si Ma'am Susan Tagle nanonood is ito, gabi-gabi kasi nanonood, so na-inspire siya na mukhang gusto niya na magnegosyo. Parang ayaw niya na bumalik doon sa kanyang employment. So konting push na lang and Ma'am Susan will be venturing into business na. Hi Kim, how are you? Cho is watching from Tarlac. Of course, Jen is from Pampanga. Saka yun, nagbabatian lang sila doon, si Kim saka si Apple. So yeah, again, kung meron po kayong questions, suggestions and comments, please drop them dito po sa aming comment stream and babatiin namin kayo at sasagutin namin ng mga questions ninyo. Hi Jacqueline Chan, how are you doing? Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Okay, so back to the big guy with the big heart, with the big business ideas. Rudolf Kotik is from RK Franchise Consultancy. So, before the break, I asked you about one thing. Dito sa EQC, nangyari is nakulong sa bahay and then marami na ngayon. There are a lot of ideas and businesses na actually na-create out of this pandemic crisis. So, what are the opportunities for them?
Theoretically, I mean, any company can venture to franchise, no matter how big or how small they are. We had a very big number of small clients who were mom and pop stores, and now they have 100 franchise outlets. So the size doesn't really matter in franchising. And even if we develop a company, we actually have only two major requirements. The first requirement is you have to be beyond your trial and error stage. Okay, in other words, you have to know what you're doing in your business. And the second is you have to be profitable. Everything else we can fix in the course of the development. All right. But if you don't know how to make money, it will be very difficult for franchises to make money. And if you are still screwing around in your system, if you already franchise at that time, when you're still in your trial and error stage, your franchises will have also that trial and error. So better wait until you are clear what you're doing and then engage into franchising.
Yeah.
But then
Probably
again, also Lloyd, because of the situation now, because of the experience what we had with ECQ and GCQ and whatever, I think there is also a lot of new business styles coming up, which we in the end will also be franchising. You see, I am sure in the next weeks and months, a lot of restaurants will set up black kitchens so that they have it easier for deliveries, for example, which nobody's franchising it, but they can be franchised as well. So I see also an opportunity for them to franchise black kitchens, for example, or also more on the logistics side. So many logistic companies have been in demand now because of stay at home everybody. So also for them, while we cannot call it franchise, there are some technicalities there. But they can call it that way. They can also expand as well anywhere nationwide and some of them even globally. We are doing also a lot of developments for outside the Philippines. Actually, we brought already 38 companies of our clients have already franchises outside the Philippines.
wow,
So
international franchise.
it's not only something, if you have an idea today, that it's not only for your barangay or for your city, but you could make it already actually through the time, not from one day to the other, but through the time, actually a global brand. Why not?
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I think that we have to. This is opportunity for us to correct the notion that if you franchise, automatically you'll be successful. Like you bought everything and then you'll succeed.
Actually, that notion is not really 100% correct, right? You really have to work on it. Okay, you have to be very careful also as a franchisor to make sure that all your franchisees are making money,
Yeah.
that they're happy. So there's a lot of stuff to be done. It's not just to
Yeah. So just to,
a picture on your Facebook page. I'm open for franchise, and that's it. This is not
yeah.
the case. Okay.
Yeah, so this is not like you buy it and then it will work, because there are a lot of probably it's 50% of the entire work, but nonetheless you will have to work on the business, in the business, as you move forward. Okay, so there are two opportunities for people now, when we now that we're reopening our economy, and that is either you franchise your business that you're able to somehow created and made during the 90-day lockdown, or you can actually find franchisors who can help you, lend you whatever they have, proven systems, businesses, and you can actually get them for lower costs. So that's what we're saying.
That's very much true, Lloyd. And in any kind of crisis since the last 20 years, and we had several crises along the way and economic situations, franchising is always the best solution to that. Because on one side, if you have money to invest, like we said earlier, the best way is to buy a franchise because it's the safest way how to invest your money because it's proven profitable. On the other hand, also, if you have a company and you want to expand it, it's easier for you and also cheaper for you to expand it through a franchise system than to opening company-owned branches. So franchising works both ways, best during those days and also after those dry days. So it's really the perfect match for our economy.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so putting up a business has a lot of things to consider. Sabi ni Jen, siguro if I'm able to develop sort of a recipe during the lockdown, 90 days lockdown, and then nagustuhan naman siya ng mga tao in my community, and probably gusto ko nang start yung business ko, or probably pwede ko na ba siya kaagad ipa-franchise? What are the steps para magawa nila yun starting from almost scratch? Yung meron ka lang, you only have the product or the idea of the service.
First, before actually you can think of franchising, you really have to develop it. You really have to come up with either, say, food. You have an idea about recipes. You cannot just franchise recipes, okay? So you really have to have the whole concept, and you actually have to implement it by yourself. So really have to open a place, whatever it is, a restaurant, a food court, or
Bakery.
hole in the wall, hole in the wall, or cart, or whatever it is. Okay, so you really have to test it by yourself.
Okay, so
And
you cannot just you need sort of a time or a cycle in order for you to be able to convince them or probably go to them and say you can actually have this kind of business.
That's right. No, you have to prove it first to yourself because before you should offer it to anybody else. You really have to know what you are doing by yourself, running the business for some time before you're selling it to somebody else as a franchise. You cannot just think of it 90 days and then you write down a menu and then you try to sell it. That's not the way how to run it. You really have to prove it also to prospective franchisees that you have a very viable business, what they can buy from you. Otherwise, you are just a scammer.
Okay, that's what you call this scammer. Fly by night. You've heard fly by night.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
day in here and the next day gone. That's interesting. And I think so. For the first thing that a person can do is to register the business, do the legalities, put up the place, and then start from there. Have a 6
That's
months?
from there, that's right. Actually, we have something what we call ground zero development.
Okay, interesting.
We also help clients, those who have an idea and want to get a business into a franchise system on the long run. That we actually help them really from conception. Okay, let's say like you said, you have an idea about food. We don't help them with the recipes. We don't help them because I don't want to be accused by my other clients that we gave something to somebody. Okay, so you have to do this by yourself. But anything what has to do with administration, manuals, forms that they can use from the very beginning, we can actually help them already at the ground zero stage.
Okay, so they can actually get you even before the franchising model, even before the franchise model.
Yes, Lloyd. We do this in a two-step system, and what we call ground zero. Step one would be we help the companies getting off the ground, and then they run it for a few months until they are beyond the trial and error stage. And then we come in and do the whole thing again for the franchise.
Okay, good. Richie Kuna saying good evening to Lloyd and to Rudolf. Hello, Sir Richie.
Hi, Richie. Kumusta?
Kumusta? Pinadalhan ako ng kurimi, yung kanyang milk tea. Ang sarap sa...
We know each other for the longest time already.
And then yun, in-enjoy naman ng asawa ko. So mukhang mapapadalas ang aming pag-inom ng kurimi. Okay, so interesting that part because again, this is an opportunity for those sabi mo nga kanina na maliit pa yung rental, very generous pa ang mga landlords ngayon, di ba? You can probably, may mga nawalang businesses that you can actually take over the place, no? Yung magagandang location, and then you can start from there. Or, pwede naman, yung mga franchisors ngayon, nagbabagsakan talaga ng presyo, so pwede kang bumili. Now, is this the new norm now? And how do you see the new normal economy operating, considering that we are all almost starting from ground zero again? You're going to answer the question when the big picture returns. So stay tuned, walang aalis. Magbabatian pa rin po tayo. Ha?
rise as one. Leave the pain behind. For the future is bright. Know that we are here to help you rise again. The new channel. See the new.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Big Picture on the new channel. And with me is the big guy with the big heart and the big idea. Rudolf Kotik is RK's siya yung RK sa RK Franchise Consultancy. Okay, maraming salamat sa mga nanonood, still watching. Yung mga nakatutok pa rin po, maraming salamat sa pagtutok. And again, importante pa yung pinag-uusapan natin, especially kung medyo naglilin kayo sa towards putting up a business, kasi ngayon, narinig natin almost 3 million na po yung nawalan ng trabaho. So na-lay off, and for sure may mga succeeding layoff pa yan kasi we are not appreciating yet. Wala pa tayo dun sa parang ang tawag dun, parang hindi pa natin appreciate yung magnitude exactly kung anong effect ng 90-day lockdown doon sa ating mga businesses. So for sure, medyo may mga alanganin pa din dyan. At again, organizations maybe starting to think of reorganizing, restructuring, pati yung mga business models babaguhin. I have known I have some ideas coming from the owner of Raike na baka yung 700 employees maging 300 na lang, things like that. So we don't know what's going to happen. So ito yung opportunities for us. Either meron tayong business idea na pwede nating gawin for an entire cycle, maybe 90 days or 6 months or 12 months, and then ipa-franchise eventually, or may mga nagbebenta ngayon ng mga murang franchise na pwede nating bilhin na lang. So the question prior to the break was, ito na ba yung bagong normal ngayon? Nagbabagsakan yung presyo ng mga franchise, and are you encouraging your franchisors to really talagang parang almost i-giveaway mo para makahelp dun sa pag-jumpstart nung economy?
It really depends from franchisor to franchisor. Also how settled they are already as a franchisor. So the discounts are mostly given by the younger brands. If a brand is already very well known, most likely you won't get a discount if you get the Cherry Still franchise. It's still the 3 million franchise fee. So, but the young brands, the new brands, they're more acceptable in giving discounts compared to the very established brands, definitely. But the new normal definitely is here, and the new normal will be still, and as long as there is no vaccination against the COVID virus. But life has to go on, so we have to do all our jobs and our businesses. Definitely a factor will be, there will be actually more additional business ventures coming up because of the COVID, like what I said, black kitchens for franchising, more in delivery services to franchise. So there is actually new opportunities for companies to become franchisors out of the situation. And I believe even those companies who are complaining about that, they had to be locked down for 3 months, no income, like the salons will open again next, I think, June 7. I'm sure once they open, they will forget about the complaints, because I think almost every Filipina wants to go to the salon to have her hair done, to have her body waxed and the eyelashes done and this done and that done.
But people will start to line up. I mean, what you only have 50 seating capacity, 50% of the seating capacity.
Yes, but
can they survive? I mean, these businesses, can they survive?
I think so. They will survive. I mean, they might not have the profitability they had before, but at least getting over the rounds while the situation is still a little bit dangerous for you to catch the virus. Okay, So as long as, call it that way, as long as they can survive now, that's okay actually temporarily, and then hopefully before the end of the year we have a vaccination for everybody, and then after that the life is 100% back to normal, and we can retire our face masks. Diba?
All right. Oh yeah. So are you saying that don't put up a business doing face mask and franchise it? Maybe. No, because yeah,
I'm
I
not so
think
sure about the face mask because I consider a franchise should have a longevity.
okay.
Yes.
So yeah.
So
Okay.
the
So
face
that
mask might be not really have that longevity because once the danger is away, I don't think so. We will still enjoy running around with face masks, even though they're getting more and more stylish now.
yeah, they are. I mean, you can even personalize the face mask with your own half face, like
That's right, right?
if Manny Pacquiao's
Louis,
face mask.
Louis Vuitton is selling face masks.
All right, good. Maybe this is also an opportunity for me to ask: how do you determine if it is fad or it's a business really set for a longer shelf life?
Okay. First of all, like this one, it's really not really a fad, but right now it's a necessity. Okay. So what is to be a necessity might not be a necessity in a year from now. So, but normally a fad, I say, like we had before, if you remember the ice crumbles, maybe years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But every housemaid was able to make that with a budget of 5,000 pesos. She was able to open her own cart, you know. So there was not really much of technology or any secrets in it, where you have to be very specific. If practically anybody can do it,
Mm.
uh, there might be initially high interest into it, but then it fades away. You see? So if you figure out that something will be wading away sooner or later, I can consider that very much a fad.
Yeah, because there was also this lumpiang sariwa. There was this a lot of stuff that they just put a cart and then say, oh, you can franchise. You can actually franchise this.
Yeah,
Things like
look, the last one what we had were the mangoes. We had so many mango stores. Only the good ones really survive it. I know even the franchisees, I know I have a few clients of it. Their franchises actually mostly survived it because everything was on a reasonable level.
Mhm.
So it depends also what the franchise is doing out of his franchise. If he makes it reasonable also to his franchisees, sustainable for his
Mhm.
franchisees, then
So
it,
so do
then
you
it will.
do you, do you study the business if they are franchisable or not prior to you telling the clients that now you can start the franchising or you
Oh
can
yes,
start.
oh yes. We ask actually normally only a few basic questions. But if it is something really very new, where you're really the first one, then we go really deeper into it. So it really depends what kind of business you have, you will want to franchise. But definitely we check first. Uh, we check first if it's franchisable or not before we actually sign you up.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll be putting at risk those who are interested to franchise your business. So again,
Yes.
you're going back to this scam thing. And based on experience, you have met a number of scammers already.
Yeah, we are warning our clients about in our seminars today. We are also, warning also the clients on how to actually avoid a scammer. Okay, because they are targeting in particular the low end
Mm.
franchise packages, very low end. So a lot of them, not everybody. There are some good ones also which are cheap, but the most scammers there in the low end category, wherein it would not be worth your money also again to
Mm.
run after them if you find out that you have been scammed, and
Mm.
that's what they're actually using.
Mm. So how do I know if the person coming to me is actually a scammer?
Okay. First of all, if, the business system itself, if they, you know, if you have a certain level on knowledge, you can actually more or less smell it that there's something wrong with it. For example, if they don't want you to talk to the existing franchisees, you see, you'll be able to ask any kind of franchises. If they don't show you the contract, if they ask you the money first before they show you a contract. Also, if they give you a contract and that contract is only 3, 4, 5 to 7 pages long, because a real franchise contract is anything from 25 to 70 pages long. So if that contract is only 3, 4, 5 pages long, most likely that's a scam. Also,
Mhm.
if the franchise agreement term is only 1 year or 2 years, that's a scam. Generally, we see a franchise contract starts with 5 years. We go as with sometimes we start with 4 or max lowest is 3. But
Mhm.
anybody who offers you a franchise agreement with 1 year or 2 years, I consider them a scammer
Okay.
because they don't consider longevity in the business. Another thing is also they are most likely not a member of any of the franchise associations. We have
Okay. And
three.
it's important that they are members of either
Yes, we
either
have three
association.
franchise associations in the Philippines. We have in alphabetical order AFI, FIFA, and PFA. If they're a member of one of the three, then definitely they are genuine. If
Okay,
they're a member of none, most likely they're a scammer because nobody wants to have them in our associations.
because these franchise associations more or less, well, they did the due diligence prior to
Yeah. Yeah.
accepting them as members. All right, so we're almost out of time, but can you share with us one inspiring franchise story? I hope I'm not getting you in jail for asking this for the non-disclosure. But if you have an inspiring story that is allowed for you to share, started from a simple concept, and then became a huge brand. Probably it can help others to get inspiration from.
Yeah, like way back in 1997, three guys decided to open a restaurant, more or less a drinking place for themselves. Okay, and they rented a restaurant space, and they were lucky enough to have the financials to set it up. And the plain idea was really to just have a place for themselves so that they can enjoy the beers every evening and some good food. And so they started that place. That was on Valentine's Day, 1997. So 15, 20, 22 years ago. And it became popular. So decided to open a second outlet in Makati and a third outlet in along C5. And the popularity became so huge that the idea of just having a place where they can sit and have fun for themselves and drink beer and enjoy sisig became actually a hit. And they talked to me 2003 about it. And by today, they have 180 outlets, I think, and franchises, not only in the Philippines, but in the US, in Singapore, in Qatar, in Dubai, etc., etc. So
Okay,
they
who
made
can
it.
guess? Who can guess? Followers, commenters, come on, make a guess. The story is kind of familiar, especially when he mentioned the sisig. The sisig did it. So if you know the answer, which restaurant, paki-post na lang po. Otherwise, babanggitin na namin dito. All right, so it's a heck of a story. I mean, inspirational as it is. Imagine doing that for
I,
yourself.
I can I can give a non-food story also. I
Okay.
was in I was in Davao in the year 2000 or so. I had a meeting with a prospective And her younger brother joined the meeting. And he said, RK, maybe in 2 years I call you because I'm planning to open a petroleum company. So and then, time goes by, I forgot about it. Then 2 years later, suddenly my phone rings, my cell phone, and the guy says, I'm ready with my petroleum station. Can you come to Davao? Let's start the first station. Okay. So when I went to Tigos and Tagum and I just looked at the earth, how they were digging, okay? These were the first two stations of Phoenix Petroleum. And today they have 600 stations nationwide.
Wow, interesting. How many percent is the franchise? A franchise. Franchise. What company franchise? And then how many are
In both cases, the first one, I don't know if people guessed it right, it was Jerry's Grill. And
It is. It should have been.
so among my
See?
two examples, I think more than 90% of all outlets are franchised.
Eileen said, "Sisig hooray." Eileen, sorry.
No, it was
Iba.
Jerry's Grill.
Jerry's Grill. Okay, so dun sa Phoenix Petroleum, ilan yung percent ng company owned sa ng franchise? Would
I
you know?
think today more than 90% is franchised also in both cases. In both
Wow.
cases, actually. Yes.
Okay.
I have one client actually who has even more franchise outlets outside the Philippines than inside the Philippines.
Seriously? Are you
Yeah, so
allowed to say? Are you allowed to mention the brand name?
I won't not, but you might know him also very well. It's
Okay, clue. Which?
also, but
Just a clue.
huh?
Give me a
they have
clue.
more outlets. They have more outlets in the abroad already through franchising than in the Philippines, because this is actually our goal now, to bring more Filipino brands outside the Philippines as well.
Yeah, it's very different in 96 and 97 when foreign brands are coming in. Now we are
Yeah.
exporting our
Yes,
brands.
and I'm pushing that one also. One of the reasons I have an office in Sydney for the purpose of franchising. So we also, instead of franchise development in Australia, we're also offering our Filipino brands in Australia and New Zealand, in the whole Oceania region, and same in the Middle East. First of all, we're doing franchise developments there for the Arabic market, and then we're also selling our Filipino brands there, our clients.
Okay, so you're pretty much Filipino now. I mean,
Yep,
adopted some of the Philippines.
100%.
Okay, I am unable to sleep tonight because of that certain brand with more businesses abroad than here. Is it a food business? Is it a cart? Is it a cart or restaurant?
Restaurant.
What's the specialty?
Inasal.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I leave it at that. Okay, I'm not
All
going to. I'm not going to be the person to. The reason for you to go to jail for disclosing it. But again, thank you. My final question before I let you go is, despite the things that are happening around here and there, people are still anxious, they're confused, disoriented. Some are probably wanting to venture into business. Some other have lost their businesses already. What's the big picture that you're seeing in all of this?
I think there's always a silver lining in every problem, in every situation. So I think nobody should throw the towel and give up. There's always a future. There's always opportunities. Like I said earlier, even now in the crisis, there have been new kind of businesses coming up, which have a future after once the crisis is over again. And I don't see it so much of a crisis from the economic side, well, it is right now, but I see also an opportunity in it. So, and the opportunity is really franchising. Franchise your business. If you have one, grow it through franchising. This can also help you very much better than company outlets if you go nationwide, because if you have operators there, they can manage it, even if there is ECQs again in the future one day maybe, or GCQs or whatever there might be in the future. So it will be much easier for you to operate a business on a bigger scale if it's on a franchise system. And I said earlier also, if you have money, the safest way to invest your money is via franchise. And if possible, do it now and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, interesting. Where do they get in touch with you? I mean, the numbers or Facebook, whichever social
Yeah,
media platform.
you can get in touch with us Facebook, RK Franchise Consultancy. My personal Facebook is Rudolf Kotik, like my name. We have websites, rkfranchise.com. We have a franchise magazine, which is called franchising.ph. We also have a franchise opportunity website, which is franchise.ph. So we are totally covered. So go to rkfranchise.com and you get all the information if you want to franchise your business, and go to franchise.ph if you want to buy a franchise. And if you want to read about franchising, go to franchising.ph.
Okay, hopefully you can remember at least one of those.
.ph, franchise.ph, franchising.ph, and rkfranchise.com. That's the three.
Okay.
And my name, like it is blended in the Rudolf Kotik, you can get on Facebook.
Okay, thank you so much, Rudolph, for this opportunity. Really appreciate your time. I hope people got inspired by your story, and as well as inspired by the thing that you're doing. I'm a fan, so again, I'm honored that to come over
Thank you
here.
so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Rudolf Kotik is president founder of RK Franchise Consultancy. Thank you again, sir, for coming.
Maraming salamat. Good evening.
All right, so isa na naman pong gabi ng inspirasyon ang inihatid sa inyo ng The Big Picture. Dito lang po sa The New Channel. The Big Picture is brought to you by or presented to you by Puzzlebox BPO Inc. Kung kinakailangan niyo po ng mga tao na hindi i-maintain or i-retain, i-outsource niyo po sa Puzzlebox BPO Inc. To know more about their services, go to puzzlebox-inc.com or email Apple sa apple@puzzlebox-inc.com. Siyempre, maraming salamat po rin po media partner natin sa The Manila Times, Unisol, Loloran, also TPC, Telepreneur. Maraming salamat po sa pag-sponsor ng ating show. Also like to thank Creative Voices Productions, Step Back, and PAPS or the Philippine Association of Professional Speakers. Ayan, so bukas, importante na naman na tayo magkita-kita dahil dito lamang po ang show na nagbibigay sa inyo ng inspirasyon. Gabi-gabi po, tuwing alas 7 ng gabi, dito lamang po sa New Channel. Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok. Yung mga hindi ko pa nabati, Nila, babatiin ko ngayon. Nila, Glenda, maraming salamat sa pagtutok. So that's about it. Only time that we have for tonight. Maraming salamat po at maraming salamat din sa mga nanood kanina doon sa world premiere ng U-Turn with Carmine Ortega. U-Turn streams every Monday and Thursdays at 11 a.m. So marami po kami mga shows na ilo-launch sa mga susunod na araw at susunod na linggo. Malay ninyo, si RK ay magkaroon ng franchise show. Hindi natin alam, hindi natin na itanong. Pero pag-uusapan po namin para sa inyong kapakanan at para sa ikabubuti ng ating bayan. Alright. Hanggang dito lang po. Maraming salamat sa pagtutok. Always stay safe, blessed, and cool. Wala pang initang ulo. Dito po ng GCQ bukas. Ingat pa rin po. Bye-bye everyone. Thanks for watching.